That's this recording. Thank you to you all for attending this week's UMIP review call. We only have one UMIP up for discussion this week, which is omnibus collateral, and Chandler can talk to that in a minute, but yes, we've only got one. So I'll just go ahead and share my screen. If Chandler, you would like to give us a little bit of an introduction to it.
Gladly. So this UMIP is to add MATIC, INST, J, and JRT. I haven't added the... so I just need... Okay, firstly, I need to do some cleaning because I used the old branch, which means the older tokens are still there in a previous omnibus, so that'll be transferred over. Then on the actual discussion around the MATIC token, in our internal review on Friday, we were confused on on the use of the MATIC token, and we needed some clarity on how it was going to be used in the form of collateral as opposed to it being a native token. And the consensus that I got from the MATIC team is that actually MATIC behaves, even though it has a lot of the ERC20 functions, it behaves exactly like Ethereum does on Ethereum, meaning there is no token collateral address that we can use for MATIC as a collateral. And the solution to that is actually not to approve MATIC as a collateral, instead improve wrapped MATIC as a collateral as well, because that's consistent with Aave and Curve pools as well. So the UMIP will need a change, and the only thing that'll need a change is to change it from approving MATIC to improving wrapped MATIC.
I haven't looked properly at this UMIP, but at the minute there's no mention of MATIC. There's Om, Badger, Idle.
Yeah, that was the previous omnibuses. If you scroll right down to the bottom, it should be there in a different file.
Oh, I see. Okay,
yeah,
sorry.
No worries. It was my mistake because I used an old branch to recreate this. Okay. So I reopened an old branch.
Right. So the proposal is just to add MATIC and INST,
as well as JRT, which is not in here, but it's the Jarvis network token.
Okay. And the wrapped MATIC that you're referring to is MATIC wrapped on Polygon chain.
Correct. So if we had to accept MATIC as a collateral on Polygon, it'll have to be in the wrapped version, just like how we can only accept wrapped Ether on our Ether contracts now. But MATIC on Ether is already there's already a token address there. So the Ether address is right, but the MATIC Polygon token address needs to change to wrapped MATIC.
Cool. Thanks for that overview.
Rainis, I know you looked into that as well. Does that agree with?
Yes, that agrees with my observations. I also have tried to interact with this MATIC kind of contract, and it failed. So definitely we need to use the wrapped version.
Gotcha. Cool. But then it's just normal MATIC on Ethereum, correct?
Yes, no, MATIC on Ethereum is fine. Only the Polygon address needs to be changed to the wrapped MATIC version. That's it. And it should behave the same as wrapped ETH behaves in Ethereum.
Sweet.
I see there's also a comment on the preliminary assessment to add JRT to the list.
Correct. So we'll just add an extra collateral currency to the list, and it'll just be the Jarvis token.
Ah, okay. Cool. What's people thinking of this? Are we fine to go with that with these two contingencies?
I think that's good. Is there anything weird about INST or JRT that we need to think about?
Inst actually is a fairly new token, somewhat illiquid, somewhat somewhat like new. So worthwhile discussing that if anyone sees any concerns around that. We do actually have a it maybe should be noted that this token is being added preemptively with a discussion with the InstaDApp team, and so there is no like pressing need to push this one through. And I actually would be happy if somebody said, hey, like let's actually spend a bit more time thinking about this one.
I mean, so what would we be thinking about? Like,
well, just
liquidity?
if there's anything wrong with it. What I'm saying is that it's not a pressing collateral type ad. So if anyone spots anything, it's okay for us to like maybe pull this one out.
Okay. I mean, generally it looks good to me. There's like $20 million on UniV3.
Yeah, liquidity looks fine. Trading volume looks fine too.
The price action seems pretty steady, you know, within like the typical range of crypto volatility. It's pretty steady.
The only thing is if you're anticipating them to like do some big marketing push or like some kind of launch where it could cause like the price action to change a lot, but I think it would be fairly easy to update this.
Yeah, maybe it's
update the final fee.
Yeah. Maybe it's also worth noting that they are the second biggest TVL protocol with a very new token that actually there could be an argument to say that this is an extremely like underpriced or weirdly priced token.
I mean, we can't set final fees based off of like our trading analysis.
Yeah,
maybe that's
my main
alpha.
Yeah, my main takeaway from that is like I should look at buying some, but we can look at the final fees again later if it does go up in price by a lot.
Okay.
I mean,
cool.
Yeah, we've got these updates once a month, so even if it does go a bit off-piste, we can always push it through to like change the final fee.
kind of a nitpicky comment about final fees. The other people just find it easier, simpler if we just usually use round numbers for final fees since they're like estimations anyways.
I find it like aesthetically pleasing, but I don't know if it makes it like easier. Sure. Like if I see 50 instead of 46, I'm like, that seems nicer, but I don't really have any reason for that besides that. It's like the same reason I stop like the volume at certain numbers on like a remote.
That's fair. I don't know. I would just think to myself, like, why is it 46, not 45? And there's no real reason.
Y'all got OCs, just like me.
You got it when you're reviewing UMIPs, right?
Yeah, I mean, we could round it down to 45 for aesthetic reasons.
Never mind. Forget I said anything.
Well, no, I mean, I think I don't know if it would make a big difference to the actual final fee, so I think it's fine.
So the two actual conditions we have are replacing MATIC with wrapped MATIC and Polygon, and a look at adding JRT, and then a general consideration of what the most appropriate round number is for and stuff.
We'll call it the remote control policy. Make sure the numbers are roughly around multiples of 5.
Or at least even numbers, or I don't know. There's all kinds of caveats to that, but don't pick grading numbers.
Okay.
Cool.
Right.
Any other issues people want to bring up? This was the only UMIP that came through this week.
I think it's really cool that we're adding a collateral UMIP and not needing to add the price identifiers to go along with it, because now we have the generalized price identifier UMIP. Like, I was just about to bring that up and caught myself, because it's like we already addressed that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's cool. Yeah, I didn't
It's
realize that.
amazing.
Are we seeing, how many adoption have you seen on the generalized UMIP?
So the generalized KPI options UMIP, I think, has been used in 2 KPI options contracts so far, and is probably going to be used in like a few more in the next couple weeks. The generalized crypto pair one, I don't think anybody's used it yet, but it was also only voted in like a week ago.
Got it. Nice. Yeah, this is going to pay off handsomely over the long run. Save a lot of teams time.
I agree. You can kind of see it in like the length of our UMIP review calls now.
We're like, okay, now we're off to drink coffee. What else can we do here?
Or we'll need to make them monthly.
It's true. I think we do have the issue around like appropriate parameterization, which is relevant to the document that I shared last week with you, Hexie, and the UMIP review thing, but that's part of a bigger conversation, and it's one I'd really like your input into. Because generic UMIPs do make things more complicated for teams that are going in, as opposed to using one off the shelf, even if they do cut down on the complexity of actually writing their own.
Yeah, I just got access today, so I'll read it.
Cool. I'd appreciate your thoughts. Any other issues that people would like to bring up?
Nope.
Cool. Well, short and sweet meeting. Thank you to everyone for turning up.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rory.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Good to see you guys.